Transfiguration Sunday is a high holy day in many respects. Next time you'll see white, with the exception of communion, will be on Easter Sunday. In between, you have purple and our journey to the cross with Jesus Christ. So on Transfiguration Sunday, 17th chapter of Matthew, not the only text talking about the Transfiguration, this is the one that we focus upon today. Listen now for God's word to you. 6 days later, Jesus took with him Peter and James and his brother John, the inner circle of Jesus, and led them up a high mountain by themselves. And he was transfigured. Don't let that word confuse you. He was changed before them. And his face shone like the sun, and his clothes became dazzling white. And suddenly there appeared to them Moses and Elijah talking with him. Then Peter said, being a Jew, Elijah would be huge for him. Then Peter said to Jesus, "Lord, it is good for us to be here. If you wish, I'll make 3 dwellings here, one for you and one for Moses and one for Elijah." And while he was speaking, suddenly a bright cloud, incredibly important to the people of Israel, overshadowed them. And from the cloud a voice said, "This is my Son, the beloved. With him I am well pleased. Listen to him." And when the disciples heard this, they fell to the ground and were overcome with fear. Oftentimes the first response when we see God. Jesus came to touch them. Saying, "Get up and do not be afraid." When they looked up, they saw no one except Jesus himself alone. As they were coming down the mountain now, Jesus ordered them, "Tell no one about the vision until after the Son of Man has been raised from the dead." The great Messianic secret, as they say. This is the word of the Lord, to which we say, let us pray. Beloved God, we have, very full lives. We all have so many things that we do each and every day. We're very active and we are very blessed. This is a time on Sunday that we have set aside to worship you. And we're asking that your Holy Spirit now might calm our hearts and our minds to spend some time with you, as Peter, James, and John did long ago. This is the mountain. Help us to be informed and to hear from you, and then to climb down that mountain to live out our purpose, our call from you. For it is in Christ's name we pray. Amen. Well, today is Connect the Dots Day at church. I don't know if you remember that from your childhood or not, but dot to dot has been with many of us from very early on in life. It's a form of a puzzle if you're having trouble remembering it today. It's a sequence of connecting, numbering, numbered dots. And if you do, an image appears. It's a great tool for learning numbers, letters, in a variety of different ways that we teach children. For instance, there is an image from very early on in your days. Many of us know that this simple line art is designed to really enhance a hidden image. But we continue to do these types of puzzles even later on in life. For those of you that like jigsaw puzzles or stargazing, trying to find different constellations, or even if you go to the doctor and get a color blindness test, all of these are modified forms of dot to dot. But we even have some great innovators of our time that have been able to connect the dots in society, and they have made a very good living doing it. For example, think of Uber, multi-million dollar taxi company. Co-founders Travis Kalanick and his friend began to think about this concept on a snowy night in 2008 in Paris. You see, they had trouble getting to their hotel that night. And so they started having a discussion on their phones about people needing rides in a faster and cheaper way than getting a taxi. So this Uber founder now happened upon a network of frustrated taxi customers, and he matched them up with underused chauffeur cars. These young entrepreneurs built a business by connecting those dots. Or consider, if you will, the offensive coordinator for the University of California football team. His name's Tony Franklin. In his distinctive coaching up-tempo spread offense, he collects plays from over 250 high school coaches. And somehow they coordinate and they affect the Cal offense. Now, I'll be the first to admit they're never going to be as good as the University of Arizona. But Franklin is worth mentioning today, that he has connected the dots. You see, in connecting the dots, we learn very early on that our life as adults can be better, actually, both in and out of the church, and we can help others live a better life if we do that, if we somehow sense this overall picture or image of what is taking place around us. Today, though, on Transfiguration Sunday, I'm going to begin by asking you to connect some dots scripturally. Because there is a lot of dot connecting today in the text, at least in terms of Jesus. And it's very important as we begin this sacred season of Lent. The Transfiguration story is told not only in Matthew, but also in Mark and Luke as well. And the stories want you to recall a number of things. To begin with, the baptism of Jesus. Did you hear it in the text? There's a voice in this text today that speaks from heaven again. And it declares that this guy on the mountaintop is Jesus Christ, God's very Son. We're to listen to him. We're to connect that dot from the past. This Transfiguration Sunday also wants you to remember Peter's great confession. Remember, Peter understood the identity of Jesus. In the 16th chapter of Matthew, it's recorded that when Jesus was in the region of Caesarea Philippi, about 40 miles north of the Dead Sea, he asked his disciples, "Who do people say that the Son of Man is?" And then the disciples begin to say, "Well, some people think you're Elijah, some people think you're Jeremiah, some think you're John the Baptist." But then Jesus says, who do you think that I am? Who do you think and say that I am? And Peter's the one that rises to the top. And he says right away, "You are Christ, Son of the living God." Well, the Transfiguration Sunday wants you to remember Peter's confession. So now you have this connection taking place. We're not done connecting yet, but the Transfiguration story wants you to connect the voice of God, the affirmation of Peter, with what is on the horizon as well. That Jesus has set his face now toward Jerusalem, and the Son of God is going to go obediently to the cross. He will be the suffering servant. Then finally, all of this going on in the story today, this Transfiguration Sunday wants you to recall your readings from Easter to Pentecost. That this Christ will rise from the grave, that he will appear 11 times after his death, and he will reveal himself. Death cannot contain Jesus, and it doesn't contain us as well. All those dots need to be connected today. Now this day, as you will hear in some churches, is not different from other days. This is not a day that we set aside as very different and distinct. Granted, it's different. But this is a culminating event. This is where the image is laid before you in its fullness. All the dots today have been brought together and a picture is displayed. Now, again, I admit it's unusual. We don't recognize it always. There's a lot going on beneath the surface, and I've tried to help you with that. But I'm sure you've heard of these things happening where there's things going on beneath the surface. I heard a story the other day about 3 pastors who decided to practice meditation together. You know, they sat beside a lake. They closed their eyes in concentration. And then suddenly, one of them stood up and said, I'm going to go get a more comfortable chair. And he stepped miraculously onto the water in front of him and walked across the lake to the other side to retrieve his chair. Well, when he returned, the second pastor, he stood up and said, I left my cup of coffee on the table in the cabin. And he too calmly walked across the water and returned the same way. Well, the third pastor, he watched the 2 first ones very carefully, and he said, I'm going to go retrieve a snack. And he rushed to the water's edge to walk across the lake like everybody else, and he promptly fell into the water. Undeterred, this wet, soggy pastor now, he climbed out of the water and jumped in again, thinking that he was going to walk across. And he sank again. This went on for some time before the other 2 pastors, they were watching. After a while, the second pastor turned to the first and said, do you think we should tell him where the stones are? Now, there's a lot going on in this story, and some of it is beneath the surface. The context of the story is very important. We're likely on Mount Hermon today, 40 miles north of the Dead Sea, the Sea of Galilee. It's a 10,000-foot mountain. You can see it from the Dead Sea. Transfiguration doesn't take place on the top point, but probably close to it. It's nighttime or evening, as Luke tells us that the disciples are very sleepy. And Jesus has gone up to the mountain. Probably in that day, the thought was that's even closer to God, so I'm going to get to the closest I can, or get the closest I can to God. And listen for the voice of God. Jesus would do nothing in life without praying and talking to his Father first. The 3 disciples, Peter, James, and John, go with him. And when the group arrives at this place that Jesus has chosen to pray, something happens. Before the very eyes of Peter, James, and John, first a cloud appears. And it's very important in Israel's history. Clouds play a very important role. When a cloud shows up, something's going to happen. And Jesus is changed. Jesus is actually surrounded by heavenly beings, glowing in heavenly glory. Now, this scene shouldn't surprise you totally, as I'm transported right away to the first chapter of Revelation, where John, the author of Revelation, is standing there, or listening, or maybe dreaming, and he has this image brought to him through the Holy Spirit. And this is what John is told to write down in the book of Revelation. He saw someone, Jesus, standing, and he was dressed in a robe reaching down to his feet with a golden sash around his chest. His head and hair were white as wool and snow, and his eyes were blazing like a fire, and his feet were bronze, glowing in a furnace, and his voice was like that of the sound of rushing waters. In his right hand he held 7 stars, and out of his mouth came a sharp double-edged sword. His face was like the sun, shining in all of its brilliance. And John said, "When I heard or saw this image, I fell to my feet as though I were dead." This person that John was seeing in Revelation was Jesus Christ. So Revelation has some of those same elements as the Transfiguration before us today. But in our text, though, a voice is heard. And Peter, James, and John see Jesus for who he is, God on earth. Now, the connection to other scriptural passages is everywhere in the text. There's so much here. Certainly, we all know and have grasped that Jesus' 12 disciples had something to do with Yahweh's choice of 12 tribes found in Israel. We know the baptism of Jesus and his desert temptation evoke the foundational story of the Israelites' exodus through the Red Sea and into the wilderness again. And I've been duly impressed with the ability of Jesus to calm the waters on the Sea of Galilee as God calmed the waters of chaos in Genesis. But frankly, folks, I have missed the Israelites' shock at Jesus' transformation right before the eyes of Peter, James, and John, because I've forgotten, and I should not have forgotten this, that the Israelites had been waiting since the exile for some Shekinah, I always miss that word, some Shekinah glory, the visible glory of the Lord to return. They had been longing for it, hoping for it, and it didn't happen until today. But the Transfiguration event is not a standalone event. It's a dot that reveals an image. It's an image of God's gracious goodness coming to earth in the form of his Son, Jesus Christ, to save his people from their sin. And God did this because of God's great love for you and me. God's unconditional care for each and every one of us. God has shown up in Jesus Christ. God is here. Emmanuel. Now, what's really interesting as well in this text is this event for the disciples is profound. You know, the disciples were hurting because Jesus has just told them he's going to go die on the cross. He's going to Jerusalem to suffer. That was horrible news. They had wanted an earthly king to restore the nation of Israel to prominence. They had plans for Jesus. And now they're not going to have a live king, but a dead one. So from start to finish, this whole transfiguration created an atmosphere of glory. It gave them hope. But further, the impact upon Peter, and we all love Peter. If there's a character in the Bible that people can relate to, it's Peter. He is a man of action. You want something done? Get Peter or somebody like him. Upon seeing the transfiguration of Christ, what does Peter do? Oh, I got to build you something, Jesus. I can't let this go. But it's interesting to note, and I find that this is a fascinating text, when we've been doing this sermon series on diving deeper with God. God tells Peter, be still. Give yourself time to contemplate and to meditate upon what you see and what you hear, to wonder, to adore, to awe reverently in the presence of supreme glory. We are all encouraged at some points to be like Peter. Trying to do something is pointless. God simply wants you to be silent, introspective, and quiet. Don't do anything. Just stand there. Do you hear that in the Transfiguration? But when Peter, James, and John capture the glory, when they're quiet and they're still, God suddenly has another problem. All of them don't want to leave the mountaintop. Who would? A.H. McNeil said the mountain of transfiguration is always more enjoyable than the journey down the mountain into daily ministry from the way of the cross. God says to them after they've had their time, go, get, leave. You got stuff to do. And so in connecting the dots today, we're encouraged to carve out time to be still, to be quiet, to be introspective, and to allow God's voice to speak to us. But there is also a time that we're called to go. But to do what, people ask? That's the great question on people's minds when they come to church. What does God want me to do? 67% of the people on Sunday morning sit in the pew asking that question and that question alone. What does God want me to do? It's to do this. To watch the way God will intersect your life today and this week. Watch who God brings into your midst. And the path that you cross this week. Pay particular attention to the widow and the orphan, the stranger in our midst. But we're called also to love the Lord and to love others. To not be that critical voice that always looks for problems and then to express them to everybody. Be willing to serve and be at the forefront of serving. To stand by those who have little or no voice, to the marginalized of our society. And to be willing to do work for the church. What, my friends, what work do you do for the church? Many people willing to serve here. Many people respond in incredible ways, but not all of us are doing that. What work has God given you to do? I'll close with this. It's an interesting story of Steve Jobs. 2005, he gave his famous commencement speech to the people or to the graduates at Stanford University. Standing before the nation's generation of next innovators was a genius who never graduated from college. He told the story of how he came to connect the dots of his past and went on to revolutionize technology. He said in a speech that's worthy to read, "When everything felt random and disconnected, when my greater purpose was not obvious, it was time to sit down, to stop looking to the future for my answers and instead just to be present." He said, "We connect the dots when we recognize that our lives have been scattered with a breadcrumb trail, a sprinkling of our hope and a trust for what is possible, bound together by a thick black line. When we come to realize and connect the dots, we move forward." And so it is with each of us. Be still today and to bask in the glory of what God shows you. And then go. Having seen the risen Christ, go out to love and to serve and to proclaim the great herald of the gospel told throughout the Bible that Jesus Christ is Lord. All to the glory of good and gracious God. Will you please stand as we affirm our faith?